What's up guys, it's Spruce Goose here, and today I want to show you how I beat one of the most popular nano-blitzes in Madden 20, Pinch Bucko. Now I know we're getting pretty late in the Madden 20 season, and I'm sure lots of you have already been seeing Pinch Bucko in your games for months now, and you may already have a good strategy for beating it. However, if you're just now getting into Madden, or you still find yourself struggling against Pinch Bucko, then hopefully this video will help you feel a lot more comfortable going against it. So before we go over how to beat Pinch Bucko, let's quickly review how to set up Pinch Bucko. I know there are a few different variations out there of how to run it, but the one I know is out of the 3-4 bear formation. The pre-snap adjustments are to press by pressing Y or triangle and then down on the left stick, spread the D-line by pressing left on the D-pad and then up on the left stick, slant the D-line inside by pressing left on the D-pad and then down on the right stick, blitz all linebackers by pressing right on the D-pad and then down on the right stick, and then QB contain by pressing LB or L1 followed by RB or R1. I usually see my opponent's user or defender in the middle of the field, typically a player in man coverage against either the tight end or the running back. This setup sends 7 people at the quarterback, but if your opponent's feeling extra aggressive, they may even send an 8th blitzer and try to cover multiple routes with the defender they're using. As you can imagine, Pinch Bucko works so well because it sends 7 or 8 people at the quarterback and gets pressure pretty much instantly if you don't keep at least 7 players in to block it. Moving to the offensive side of the ball, the play we're going to look at today is verticals out of the gun bunch formation. Now our setup is going to depend on whether or not we have a star receiver with a high release rating. For those of you who don't know, a player's release rating determines how well they get off the line of scrimmage and get early separation against press coverage. Since Pinch Bucko almost always is played with press coverage, the easiest solution to beating it is to have a receiver with a high release rating and put him on a go route against single coverage. So here are the players in Madden with the highest release ratings. We're late enough in the season that EA has already replaced the Madden 20 player ratings database with the Madden 21 ratings, but the ratings in the two games should be nearly identical. Any receiver with an 88 release rating or higher should usually beat press coverage against an average cornerback and get open on a go route for a touchdown. But let's assume you don't have one of these star receivers, which means we'll have to work a little bit harder for our one-play touchdown. In that case, go ahead and put your third best receiver on the left side and put him on a drag route or a smoke screen to keep him from getting in the way too much. On the right side, for our outside receiver, we want our best route runner because he's going to be on this wheel route that gets an insanely good animation against any cornerback in the game. Having a good route running rating is important because that gives him a much lower chance of getting hung up on the cornerback. If you put a receiver on this wheel route who has a low route running rating, he can still get open, but it won't happen as consistently. For our slot receiver, we want our second best route runner, and we're going to be putting him on a slant. I used to think it was more important to have your fastest receiver here on the slant route because I figured the extra speed would help him separate from the defender, but you really want to prioritize having another receiver with decent route running ratings, because getting a favorable animation on your route is going to get you a lot more separation over a short distance than having someone in there who's a little bit faster but isn't as good of a route runner. Now the final adjustments we have to make are to block our running back and tight end, and now we've got 7 people blocking against the probably 8 blitzers coming in. Obviously the defense still has one more blitzer than we have blocker, but blocking 7 should buy you enough time for one of these routes to get open. The very last thing you need to do is send your receiver on the wheel route in motion to the outside and then snap the ball as soon as you can after he starts his motion. Once you snap the ball, we have to read everything pretty quickly, but fortunately the read is extremely simple. Between your receivers on the wheel route and the slant, all you have to do is throw to whichever one your opponent isn't usering. Both routes are going to get open, so as long as you throw away from his user, you're going to get yards every time. It's more likely that your opponent will use the slant since most people like covering the middle of the field, so if that's the case, the wheel route is going to be wide open and you can throw a nice lob pass for an easy touchdown. The reason we snap the ball right after setting that receiver in motion is that for whatever reason, that's what seems to get him the best animation and result in the most separation. And for anyone wondering if this wheel route always works, I can't say it'll work 100% of the time, but I will say that in practice mode, we have Michael Gallup, who's an 81 overall receiver, going against Stephon Gilmore, the best cornerback in the game and a 99 overall player, and Gallup is beating him every time. Now as you would expect, if your opponent decides to use the wheel route, then you can go ahead and hit your slant across the middle, which should also be open because we put our second best route running receiver there. And since there's no other help for that defender in single coverage, even the slant can get us a one-play touchdown. Now, one adjustment your opponent might do to make your life a little more difficult is to take his cornerback covering the wheel route and put him in something like a deep third, and then go and use the slant route. In this case, we still want to stand by our principle of throwing away from the user, so there's two things we can do here on the right side. The first is to throw an early bullet pass to our outside receiver as soon as we see the cornerback dropping deep. The second is that we can put our outside receiver on an out route and take the easy 7 to 10 yards every time. Another wrinkle your opponent might throw at you is to stay in man coverage but not press, and in that case, our wheel route doesn't do quite as well. So when your opponent's no longer pressing, what I like to do is put my outside receiver on a slant, my slot receiver on a go, and my left side receiver on a drag, and either the slant or the drag should come open every time. So guys, that's my method for beating pinch Bucko out of gun bunch verticals. I do, however, have two other quick things I want to show you guys that can also help you beat pinch Bucko. First, let's say you're in the red zone and you don't really have space for a wheel route to develop. Another great way to beat pinch Bucko is actually by running the ball. Now if you try running up the middle, you're going to have a bad time, but stretch runs to the outside actually do really well against pinch Bucko because a lot of those blitzing defenders get kind of caught up in the wash in the middle of the field, and it leaves a lot of space on the edge. My favorite stretch play to run against it is stretch alert X looky out of the I form H wing formation. If you want the best blocking possible on the edge, you can even sub out your tight end on the outside and put in an offensive lineman instead, and that should get you solid runs consistently against pinch Bucko. The other play I want to show you guys is another one with a wheel route, and that's the play PA shot post out of the gun trips tight end formation. This was the play I originally wanted to focus on in this video for how to beat pinch Bucko because I've actually had some success with it online. However, in practice mode, the wheel route just wasn't getting open consistently enough for me to feel good about highlighting it as my primary strategy for beating pinch Bucko. It's definitely a good play to have in your arsenal though, especially if you're already running gun trips tight end and you need a good man coverage beater out of it. In this play here, I got a great animation with wide receiver Scotty Miller, even though his route running ratings are only in the low 70s. So while this play can work, I still think you guys will see the most consistent results beating pinch Bucko with gun bunch verticals. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know in the comments below what plays you guys like to call against pinch Bucko, and what player coverage you guys want to see me do a video on next. While we're starting to get into the final month of Madden 20, and there's a decent chance pinch Bucko might not be a strong nano blitz in Madden 21, there's no doubt in my mind that another man blitz will come and take its place. And because of that, it's really important for us to understand these concepts of how to beat a man blitz by having simple reads on routes that can reliably get open quickly. As for an update about me, I've transitioned to playing Madden on Xbox after previously playing on PC. So if you want to play against me or just hang out and chat sometime, come stop by one of my live streams at twitch.tv/sprucegoosetv. As always guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.